Hey y'all, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel, and this is my end of month January wrap up. So, I feel still really odd with the dark hair, but thank you for your sweet comments about it. I'm still not fully used to it. It's lightened up some, but yeah, you're gonna get this video kind of like in between hair colors because I got two other videos, most anticipated releases of the whole year, and the Winter Essentials book tag. Honey, them gonna be in my old hair, and then this is in my new hair. It is what it is because I have to get this video out. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're filming this video, and I just want to talk about the final books that I read this month. I'm not feeling that great this week, kind of in and out and stuff, so forgive me for any kind of brain fog, looking at my notes, all that stuff, but hey, we're here. This month I read a total of technically 20 books, but but really a lot of them were mangas or short books, so it's not necessarily saying, oh, your girl read 20 books. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, technically, if you add each one up, yeah, it's 20, but manga was very short and easy to fly through like that. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you ain't seen my mid-month wrap-up, I will link it on the screen, but yeah, let's just jump in. I think I ended telling y'all I was reading the Perfect World manga. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. In this manga, our main character, he is disabled, and it talks all about the relationship of this girl that he used to know in high school. Him and her kind of hit it back off. They're reconnecting through work. They end up working together and all that stuff. And so then some love triangles get thrown in, all the things. So I did read through book 9 on that. I need to read 10, 11, and 12, but book 9 kind of ended on a really sweet note. I don't feel like the need to like hurry up and read 10, 11, and 12, but I still want to. It was overall a good manga series. I've already talked a lot about it. So yeah, in my mid-month wrap-up, I talked about it, but I can't remember exactly what I said. I did give book 9 5 stars. I loved it. So it was worth getting to the end, but some in the middle were like 3 stars just because of all the love triangle mess that I didn't love. So yeah, overall, I'd give the whole series like a 3.5 to 4, just depending on which of all you're talking about. But yeah, it was still fun. I'm glad that I read them, and I plan to finish off 10, 11, and 12 just because the covers really intrigued me about what's going to happen next in their journey and everything. But yeah, book 9 was really great. So what we really want to talk about is Something Old, Something New by Amy Clipston. Y'all, I did love this. I gave it 3 stars. It was just fine. This was something I got on NetGalley, and I wasn't sure if I was going to rate it or enjoy it. I was kind of middle of the road. So yeah, 3 stars. It wasn't bad. Wasn't the best thing in the world. I just didn't love it. This whole story starts off with Christine Sawyer, and she has a twin sister, Brittany. So Christine, she is the main girl. She is the like nerdy girl, whatever. Didn't really have a boyfriend, that kind of stuff in high school. This is like 10 years, I want to say, 8 to 10 years after high school. They're in their late 20s. But back in high school, Christine was the nerdy girl, and her twin sister Brittany was like the popular cheerleader type girl and would date like the football player and all that stuff. So Brittany dated Brent in high school, and they broke up. Like, I think a little bit after high school, maybe they were in sophomore year of college. I can't remember exactly, but something to that effect. And so Brittany is now married. This is, like I said, 8 to 10 years later. She married to somebody else, happily married, all the things, when her ex-boyfriend Brent comes back into town. He's having like a tough time in life. He's issues with his construction business. He suffered like a career-ending injury and all these things with football. And so he's had just a really tough time of things. But he's come back into town to help his great aunt Midge with her home renovations, getting the house ready to sell, okay? Christine, our nerdy girl I was telling y'all about, she has an antique shop. It's her #1 dream in life was to open this antique shop. And so she ends up helping and meeting Brent, which is her sister's ex-boyfriend from high school. She ends up meeting him because he's something about with the antiques. I think that there's some antiques in his aunt's shop, and like they end up partnering and working together. Aunt's shop. Why did I say that? Her aunt's house. I'm struggling. You know what I'm saying. We'll just keep on going. So he ends up with some antiques in his aunt's house and meets Christine because of her antique shop, and they partner together, and things start to hit it off between the two of them. And it's kind of a no-no because that's her sister's ex-boyfriend, but it's from high school, and they broke up from a misunderstanding, and all the things are being revealed there. That's kind of what goes on from there. The reason I didn't love this book is because, number one, I don't always love, like, okay, girl gonna be dating his sisters as boyfriends trope, but hey, it was fine. She was married. His sister was married, so I get it. But she was just kind of like hateful the whole time. Like, I get it, honey, it's your ex-boyfriend, but she was a bit much. Like, it's like, okay, have we not moved on from this? I can see part of it, but she was so mean to her sister for most of this book, and I did not love that. I'm like, look here, me and this sister about to go. I'm just kidding. Like, come on, Brittany, it's fine. Just let it go. Maybe he's different. You know, maybe they're, you know, all the things start to be revealed of like why they broke up. There's all this drama, okay? So it's kind of like, I didn't love all that stuff. Christine found herself in like this rock and a hard place of kind of having to choose her sister over Brent. And I don't like that stuff. There was no faith content. It didn't really blow me away. It was just kind of basic. And I don't know. I never really read Amy Clipston. I think she has some Amish fiction that I've seen. But this was just, the cover looks so pretty. I think that's the only reason I was interested in it. And then I didn't even read really fully the synopsis when I checked it. So I don't really have a whole lot to say other than this was just okay. It was just so repetitive and annoying. Like the sister and fighting about this guy. And it's like Christine's trying to tell the sister, hey, no, you misunderstood things about him many years ago. There's all this drama with that. But I did really like Christine and Brent together, and like they had some good chemistry. It was cute. Oh yeah, it's 3 stars. It's fine. I like the aunt. The home renovation stuff was cute. Them working together was cute, but it was whatever. So moving on from that, I read a cozy mystery called Murder in the Scottish, is it in a Scottish Shire by Tracy Hall. There's like 4 books in the series. The 4th one just come out. I've got the 4th one on NetGalley. So I want to listen to 2 and 3 on audio. What am I saying? I'm not. It's not my week. This 3 stars, or 3.5. Did I say 3? No, I said 3. Okay, that's right, 3. I can't. This is the first book in the Scottish mystery series, Scottish Shire mystery series. I need my notes. Let me find this. Let me go back to this. This is first book in a Scottish Shire mystery series. Like I said, there's 4 in the series. This is set in Scotland, and it's the main reason I picked it up because y'all already know the character. Her main character in this is Paisley. She's 28 years old. She's a single mother. She has a little knitting shop called Cashmere Crush. And so she makes like these specialty sweaters and socks and all these things with cashmere and just special yarns and all that stuff. Everything in her life pretty much seems like it's gone wrong. She's got an eviction notice. She has an estranged grandfather that just shows up. The police bring him in one day and say, hey, we found him. All this stuff. He's homeless. And so she ends up taking him in and trying to help him find his son. What's his name? Cray. Okay, his son's name was Cray. So there was kind of like a side story of trying to figure out where his son is. And I think we'll still follow that more in the next book. And so I like that side story a little bit, but I was more focused on the main plot of, we have a co-worker of hers, someone she had recently hired, that she finds dead. Was in her apartment or something? I think it was. Either way, she finds this girl dead. And they're all like, what happened? Oh my goodness, somebody we knew. But they don't really look at her too much as the perpetrator. So here's where this fell flat for me, was like, we didn't really have a romance in this, which is what I think it was missing. It was a little too long, even though it was like 300 and something pages or so. The audio felt so long at times that I was like, okay, let's keep going. This is not engaging as much anymore. You know, we're following so many things with like the family aspect of her son. And I like that, but like it was a little much, like too long, you know, like we really needed to focus on the main plot. And I was like over it. So I want to continue on and see, maybe people said book 2 is better. So I'd like to continue on with it. Her son, Brody, was so sweet. He's 10 years old. I love the family aspects of it. It does make it more relatable, yes. But, you know, it wasn't a favorite, you know. So, I still liked it enough that I want to continue on and see what happens. But, yeah, there really wasn't. It was just kind of dry at times. You know, the writing was a little dry. And the one thing missing was a romance. So, yeah. Maybe we'll get some romance in the next one. I think she kind of set some things up to do a romance. So we'll see. And I actually have a physical copy of the next book I read, which was Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. And this was a nonfiction of pretty much his life story. And I really like this. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to like this. I kind of actually, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to like this because he goes through detail of his life as an early childhood star. And he just like details everything out from when he was young and filming the movies and teenage life and things he went through with his parents and kids in school bullying him and things that I was surprised to read, up until like, you know, his friendships with his co-stars. He had like chapters dedicated to like his relationship, well, friendship with Emma Watson, which it's called Dramani. I mean, hello, I'm just saying. But I really like that chapter. It was good. But Emma Watson writes the foreword for this. Like, I'm just saying they need to be dating, but I mean, there's something there. I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. But it's nothing like groundbreaking. He does use the F word throughout it sometimes. I forgave a lot of the language because it's nonfiction. He used it mostly in dialogue of retelling things. That's fine, whatever. I don't love it, but I moved on from it because overall I listened to this on narration, and Tom Felton narrated it, and I mean, I love when the author of their own memoir is narrating the story, and it was good for that. So yeah, overall I give this 4 stars. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you will like this. If you're a Draco fan, you like this. If you're a Tom and Emma fan, you will like this. So yeah, I highly recommend the audiobook more so than this, but the audiobook did not have, for whatever reason, the one I got from my library did not have the foreword from Emma, so I went back and physically read that. I read a couple other chapters physically. It was just really eye-opening to see his life as a child actor, so yeah, I like this one. All right, so I'm gonna need my notes on this because y'all already know. So the next book I read was Set the Stars Alight by Amanda Dykes, and I gave this 3.5 stars. I talked a little bit about this here and there throughout the month of January, like in vlogs and stuff. And so, forgive me, I'm losing my voice, but we're just going to keep going with this. So I need my notes to really like explain this. Overall, I like this book. It's just, her writing was sometimes so poetic and lyrical and whimsical and magical that I missed some things. I know I missed some things. I tried this on audio, couldn't get it at all. I had to physically read it, and then later I could do some audio here and there, but it still was like I'm missing things. And so this is a Christian historical fiction, multi-timeline. There is some romance in here, which was sweet, but majority of this was like more historical fiction to me. I would have liked a little more romance in it. It's like a lost ship storyline, and so you're following 2 characters in the early 2000s up to 2020, and then we're going to another timeline from the early 1800s of this lost ship, what's happened on the ship, you know, who are these characters, and all this stuff goes on from there. So yeah, that's the baseline, but let me tell you a little bit more from my review. So yeah, I said that I liked our characters, our storyline, mysterious aspect of the book was good because I like you know, figuring out what happened to the ship. That was all cool. But like, I had to spend so much time on this, y'all. I took notes. I had a Word document. I was typing stuff up. Like, because I had to spend so much time on that, like, I was out of whack. I mean, I was like, I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I had to talk to Miriam to figure out some things. And so I was so thankful she could kind of help me walk through it, because I wanted to challenge myself, because it was a book club pick. I wanted to challenge myself to get this book done. But like, if it hadn't been a book club pick, I probably would have put it down, to be honest with y'all, because like, I just wasn't feeling it, you know? But I'm glad I finished it, because it makes me want to try more of her books to see, because I've heard she has some good romance in some of her other books. So we'll see. I wish this one had more, you know, more romance, like I said. But I had a hard time keeping up with the different timelines because we bounced around a lot, especially at the beginning. Once we kind of got towards the end, it was fine. But like I said, we were following the early 2000s and late 20s. I don't know if it was late. Whatever, 2020, Lucy and Dash, they're best friends from like a very young age. Her dad pretty much tells all these beautiful stories and to her and Dash when they're young, when all of a sudden her mother passes away, it changed their entire life and everything. And Dash ends up going away. She doesn't see him for a long time. So like, she sees him in the early 2000s, but we don't see them meet up again until 2020. And so it was just beautiful to like see them meet up again and reconnecting and everything, and seeing where he had been in his life and, you know, his education and all that stuff. But yeah, she pretty much had to learn how to cope with grief, and her dad as well. He got sick. There was all these things she was having to go through by herself, you know, at such a young age. I want to say she was 14 or so. And so yeah, he was telling all these stories and stuff, but through the stories, there was one that she was really fascinated in, and it was about the missing HMS Jubilee ship from the early 1800s. And so there's like this guy, Frederick, who is what they call a traitor, but you really don't know, is he really a traitor? What is his story, his backstory? And we end up following in 200 years in the past. She's researching all of this stuff with Dash. And when they meet up again in 2020, they're researching on like this missing ship. And everything goes on from there. The 200 Years in the Past, I think, was my favorite because it was more emotional. And, of course, there's more things going on. Frederick was just such a sacrificial character. I loved him. He was my favorite because he would just do anything to help his friends. Following Frederick with Elias, one of his friends, and Juliet. Elias and Juliet are together. And there's a lot of circumstances and things that go down. And it's just, it was very just... wow, it's the only thing I can say. There were so many things happening on the ship, and once you figure it all out, it's just like, what? So the ending was good, but like I said, it just didn't wasn't a favorite. I still want to read some Amanda Dykes. And, you know, one thing about this story is, like, we had so much sadness, but, you know, there was still, like, this essence of hope and light with the characters. They were going through so much, but there always was still like the hope that they had was really nice to see. I wish we had a little more faith content. I probably missed some of that, honestly, in her writing. There probably was some more than I realized, but yeah, I don't know, it was just me. So yeah, that's all I got to say about it. I know I'm all over the place, but I really want to try 2 more of her books that I own. The Horses of Night and All the Lost Places. I still have those. I want to try them at some point, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm probably not doing a very good job of explaining this, and I apologize, but yeah, I really struggled reading this time, y'all, but I'm glad that I powered through and finished it. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know some of y'all, this is a favorite. Some of y'all kind of feel the same as me. Let me know your thoughts down below. The final book I read this month was Left Behind. I mean, I'm like last to the table on this, so yeah. Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. This is like the start in a large series all about the rapture and Jesus coming back and taking his people and the tribulation and the Antichrist and all this stuff starts going down. So yeah, basically this whole story starts off with Rayford. He is a pilot and he's on a plane, and all of a sudden half the passengers are gone. Like, they're like, what happened? They just disappeared. Their clothing is left behind. And all of these other people are left behind. And Rayford soon realizes that his wife and son are gone, but his daughter is still left. His daughter Chloe is still left. And so while he's devastated, he's still trying to get in touch with his daughter. And he goes to the church. He starts learning more. He wants answers. He's reading the Bible. And it's just a really great faith story for Rayford. I really liked his point of view. And his story really encouraged my heart in many ways. So yeah, I really liked his point of view. And then we follow Buck Williams. He is a journalist and a passenger on Rayford's flight. He's pretty much trying to tell the story of what happens here, and he gets like intertwined in all this crazy stuff. And so we're following him as he's like trying to investigate this story from all angles. And we're slowly starting to see biblical prophecy being fulfilled and all the crazy things. And the character of the Antichrist is starting to come forward, and you're starting to see that. And just the ending was wild. And it makes you think, wow, what crazy power that this person had at the end of this book over the other people that were left. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it's just, I don't know. It really makes you think. It really encouraged my faith. This is probably one of the first books that's really, truly encouraged my faith and made me stop and just take a look at my own heart of where I am in my own faith walk with the Lord. It's just full of just great biblical truths. And yeah, I mean, highly recommend. I know there's a lot of movies and everything. I've not seen any of the movies. I know there's a new movie and all the things. So there's some movies with Kirk Cameron. And I don't think I'd watch the one with Nicolas Cage, but I know the ones with Kirk Cameron are piquing my interest. I'd like to see them. They're from the early 2000s. So yeah, I feel like I'm the last one to read this, but I'm glad that I did. I've got the first 5 on my shelf where I got these at Goodwill. And the audio narration is really great too. I highly recommend. It just gives you a really good glimpse as what the true end times is going to look like. It's a well-developed story. It's definitely not dated in any way to me. I still really was engaged and loved it. So my girl Chrissy over at Chrissy's Purple Library recommended this because she was rereading this series. She's currently rereading this series. And I'm so glad that I picked this up on a whim. It wasn't in my TBR. TBR who? I'm reading this, you know? So yeah, I've kind of been feeling a little bit more like led to do some mood reads other than the books that I'm like, you know, agreed to review and everything, read and review. So I probably do a little bit more of that. That's why I did my TBR for February as like a possibilities. But anyway, I feel like I've talked long enough. I've about lost my voice. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great week whenever you're watching this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, y'all.